Greetings everyone, my name is Addervale, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Mega Man Maker. In this weekly morning live stream, as usual, I'll be covering a combination of both Virus Mid levels and some other levels I found online, primarily focusing on the former. I'll be doing this for about 2-ish hours, then I'll showcase art at the end of the stream. Welcome to the stream, Jedok, Jaden, Pixel Boy, Oscar, Zeros V7892, Jay Butters, and anyone else who I missed, as well as all the lurkers. Thank you all for joining me once again. To answer some comments, yep, Mega Man W's demo's out. I'm gonna be playing through it tomorrow. Although, depending on how long that demo ends up being, I may end up playing Mega Man NX's demo right after it too. And maybe something else. Second, Upper Cute, not Upper Cutie, Upper Cute. Yeah, its Kickstarter was fully funded, and yes, I will cover the demo sometime in the future. The dev actually emailed me about that, so yeah, I'll be happy to cover their game. Ah, that sucks, Sunflora. Okay, the first levels I needed to get changed, so let me fix that. Alright. All set? We'll begin with this stage. SMB Tree Tanks 1 version 2 by Nuclear Stomp. 32 plays and a score of 8. I've always done this intro without fail ever since the start of the game, or pretty much near the start of the game. And I've been wondering if I really should start changing things, like... Like, do I really need to announce the score and number of views every single time? Can't shoot at anyone, but I got double jump. And this is a platformer-centric level anyways. Also, unlike the original wait. Oh. I thought this entire stage took place over a bottomless pit. Like, I thought the blue floor there was actually part of the foreground, not the background. Alright. Although now I think about it, I think it did have the top spin, so Unfortunately, his weakness actually gets deflected by, the wheel cutters. Ah, almost there. I got touched on the side. Alright, better. Best news is when he's on his sweeping phase. Okay, even just one segment of nitro cutter, wheel cutter, that'll dissipate the flames. I thought it was like a segment. I thought it was on a per segment basis. Yeah, this is gonna be a bit awkward now because, my weapons aren't the best suited for fighting him. I basically can't afford to miss any shot. Yeah. Oh, the one by Alpharad and a team of ROM hackers? Seems like people like it. This weapon's fun to use, but if it only deals 2 damage, it's yeah, not a good weakness for this boss. Thank you, Toxin. Fair. I would like to see Nintendo try to DMCA one of those 3 companies. Especially the first and latter. They would get creamed. No, they're not that dumb. I don't mind the price of the Switch 2, the proposed price. What's more of an issue is the pricing of the games. Well, some of them. I don't mind using this weapon, especially the buff version maker, but against this sort of boss, especially when you'd only deal 2 damage and it gets deflected by many things, it sucks. Okay, we win. Okay, so playing as base makes the stage easier, but it makes the boss fight a lot more difficult. Super Mario Mon is more of a Pokemon game with a Mario skin and humor. Again, I've seen part of Alpharad's video on it. It looks cool, but I'm not the Pokemon game player. Or fan game player. Plus, I'm not gonna treat the next I'm not gonna treat every popular game as being bad. Plus, I don't exactly like to use the term slop unless I actually see the game. Like, I have a rather particular definition of that. Plus, it's not necessarily an equivalent to saying that, it's bad. Hey, Power. Check the queue, and well, in this case, no. So yeah, as for that stage, yeah, a recreation of Tanks 1. The boss fight was much harder than Boom Boom. Way harder. Second up is the Crystal Battleship by Sunflower Azumarill. 37 played, score of 9. As a matter of fact, that fight would have been easier if I just had the Buster. Uh-oh. Snow or electricity? E for everyone. Oh no. Undoing this is Mega Man. No one said Buster here. The user, that is. And they tend to show up in about an hour later. Oh yeah, to those coming in later, I am going to be playing the demo of Mega Man W tomorrow, along with Mega Man NX if I have time, and maybe something else. Because I've heard that the demo of W isn't actually that long. Whoa, waterfall in the background. It's... Oh, okay. So that's why that's there. Let the dog in. Not yet. What's right? Turning on and off the ice. Freezing, thawing the ice. This is a little bit scary with the ice physics and this. As this is a level by Sunflower Azumarill, I know for a fact there's going to be these optional pathways on the sides that lead to special weapons. So there's two ways of doing that room. Oh yeah, to answer your question, for those who've asked or are going to ask, no, I'm not buying the Switch 2. I'm mostly a PC gamer after all. Do I think Switch 2 is going to be a failure, or is it going to be like a failure on the power of Wii U? Too early to tell. I guess this fight is a lot harder for playing as roll or bass. Hurry up, hurry up! Put the paths link up. Drat, I missed something. Wait. Why are you saying fail as much? Didn't you say be more successful? Like, I think we're being way too hasty by saying that the Switch 2 is going to be a failure. We shouldn't be using that as a metric. The problem with the Wii U was it's kind of confusing naming terminology to the general public, which made them think that it's basically an upgrade to the Wii, not a new console. And the other important thing is that there weren't that many games that people wanted to play on that console to justify the price. Oh no. Whether that be console exclusive or whatever. Honestly, the way it looks to if you were to ask my opinion right now, too early to tell, but I can tell you that on launch day they're gonna get at least they're gonna get several million sales across the globe. You have to keep in mind though, when I'm talking about sales and stuff like this, I'm not just talking about the hardcore or core fans of these consoles and companies. I'm also including the casuals and ultra casuals, the general public, where they may just buy the console and 1 or 2 games for it. That's all. I mean, one of the most popular games for the Nintendo Wii, for example, was Wii Sports. Like, yes, I get there's dedicated fans for Nintendo who will eat up almost anything they do, but there's also just a lot of people who are just know Nintendo as a family brand name and will buy from them instinctively, or just say, oh, nice price, 1 or 2 games, I'm fine. So the $70 or $80 or $90 price point for Mario Kart World, I'm just jesting with the price totals. It doesn't hurt as much. The 2 main gimmicks of this stage are the ice physics and the Yokus, like here. Yokus aren't... Well, I appreciate that... Oh my goodness. I appreciate that they're telegraphed like this. But not as actually being done much with the Yokus. Most of what's being done is with the ice physics, ice blocks, and switching the thawing and refreezing the water. And these things, and I made a big error here, oops. Alright, backup strategy. I mean, I agree with Jay Butters in that. Link hater. I agree, Fire Sawdust. Like, I know I'm gonna sound a bit like a heretic here, but I don't mind if certain games now cost 70 USD. Yeah, I know. With the cost of living increasing, that makes it a harder sell, and wages not keeping up. But, with certain titles, I'm more okay with $70 increase, but if some of the games cost 70 because of inflation rates. It's just that I don't want every single Nintendo first-party title to be 70 bucks or 80 bucks. Some of them really don't deserve that, in my opinion. Well, what makes it worse is that Nintendo barely puts their games on sale. So yeah. But those are my 2 cents. Like, to me, Mario Kart World, I could argue 70 bucks, but, smile. But that's just me. I don't really buy any $60 games on release anyways, because of various reasons. Like, an example in the last gen would probably be like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Especially at release, I wouldn't buy it for $60 or $70 with, how, unstable it was. Yeah, Steam games usually don't cost as much, but then you have to buy a PC. And there's a lot more variability in terms of specs there. But of course, to be fair, with the PC you have, by this point, at least a 40-year catalog of games to play through. Not to mention the catalog grows even bigger if you decide to play with an emulator. I was waiting for that. Oh no. Goodbye. Round 2. Dead spikes down there. That's why I tend to be a PC gamer, because of, sales are much more frequent and available, lots of indies to try out, lower barrier to entry. Of course, also the specs could be a little bit difficult. And a huge catalog of games from multiple different systems, technically. Eep. It'd be funny if I just slipped into the death spikes below. Alright, let's get out of here. Ooh, the Aurora. Borealis or Australis? Okay, let's catch up. Can you bring Australia in that argument? Out of context comment. Yeah, I respect most indie devs. Sega Capcom is a little bit of a different story, but I understand. And to respond to Jay Butter's first comment, yeah, I understand. There are multiple levels of complaining, but there are multiple levels of criticism, but I feel like the amount of credibility I give to each one of them depends on what they're actually doing alongside it. Like, if they decide, like, I'm gonna give more credence to them if they criticize and don't buy the Switch 2 in their games, versus someone who criticizes and still purchases the Switch 2 and games at launch. Like, one of the best things to do is criticize Nintendo, advocate for alternatives. Well, criticize Nintendo, don't buy the console and games at launch, and advocate for alternatives on other platforms. It's one thing, whenever we say vote with your wallet, it's not just it's not just not buying something, it's also buying something else, and making it clear why you decide to buy something else. I know consumers and customers and us, people who play games can be rather fickle, but it helps when we say why we did X or Y. Yeah, when I said unstable, that's what I was referring to, the crashes, and the lag, and the very weird LOD models. True, J Butters, as an individual it doesn't matter as much, especially to a large megacorp, but it certainly matters to a smaller or tiny indie dev. So let me rephrase my statement a little bit to make my point clearer. Okay, sure, let's say about 100 people decide to swear off from buying Nintendo Switch 2 console as well as the launch titles. Yeah, Nintendo's not gonna notice the hurt that much, But if they decide to instead buy, let's say, one or two indie games from a small indie dev, or a few of them from a bunch of indie devs, especially the very small or small ones, they will notice 100 new customers a lot more and appreciate it. If you're gonna make your voice heard, you need to be... If you're gonna make your voice heard, especially to larger organizations, companies, you have to have enough people and / or be influential enough combined. Your stage is next. Okay, I'm gonna reorder stages a bit. Your stage is next powered. Anyways, as for the stage itself, it was fine, but kind of eh. Like, I understand the gimmick. I just wish it took it further with the thawing and unthawing, the freezing and thawing of the ice. Sylv, I think Reload is a fan game. Alright, number 3 up is Floral Woman by Power Simplified, with 42 plays and a score of 8. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jaden. The situation in Indie DAOs is like... I hate... It's not really that funny. The situation with Indie DAOs reminds me of the whole starving artist meme. Like, oh sure, there are a few... maybe 100 or so indie devs which get there are like a dozen or few dozen strong indie devs which get super popular. Maybe 100 or 200 that get popular enough. And then there's the thousand... And then there's the millions upon millions who are... Okay. No, I need to recorrect my statement. Okay, there's the golden egg of indies who get extremely popular. Then a few 10 or 20 that get super popular. Then maybe the 100 which get just popular, but enough to survive. And then we have like a few hundred which are maybe 1,000 which are... I'm exaggerating the numbers a little bit here. Then there's a few hundred, maybe 1,000 strong, which are not popular, but mid. And then there's the millions upon... Ow. And then there's the millions upon millions of other indie devs who are basically super unknown and fulfill the starving artist meme. Okay, its own region, most Pokemon from Gen 1 to 9, it has its own Fakemon and evolutions. Oh yeah, missed it. Got it. I got the strategy. Hang on. Damage boost. Worked. This is why on my channel I focus so heavily on indie games. Many years ago, this was initially going to be just a Mega Man and a Nintendo focused Mega Man and Capcom and maybe Nintendo Sega focused channel. But long ago I decided that, hey, I actually wanted to cover stuff from the non-big companies. Plus, I knew for a fact I'd get completely wrecked in terms of analytics. I'm simply not energetic and / or kid-friendly enough in order to become popular in the YouTube algorithm, if I go that route. Okay, freeze it is. Of course. Just my luck. They can be submitted via Discord, or they can be submitted in chat. It's your call. I prefer chat right now because I can instantly refer back to it, but Discord works fine too. I do own Afterimage. Well, look at that. And yes, Jaden, I will... Okay, here's my pitch to you. After Twilight Monk is done, after 2 streams, the next... Oh shoot, that was my bad for not reacting fast enough. After I'm done with Twilight Monk, the next new game I'll start will be your game, Path of the Midnight Sun. The game you requested. Peach? Hey, Bo. Now, let's actually pay attention to what's happening instead of doing what I did there. The Darkroach family lives... Oh, that just seems like a skit, sorry. And yes, I know I could have used the gen adapter, I didn't want to cheat. Or rather, make it easier on myself. Yeah, I could have just used the tornado hold. I wanted to take a different route. Okay. I just noticed the spikes up there. Oh yeah, one note, Sylv. You may want to change the default difficulty for Reloaded. Like, from what I understand, the default difficulty for Reloaded may be a little bit too slow-paced. You may like the mode which increases the damage dealt to everything. You may want to play in the mode where everything takes double damage, including yourself. Hey, planters. Right, if it isn't ice, it's fire. Goodbye! A little bit of an older stage, but let's take a look-sees. I think I liked your previous stage more, but this is more relatively well-balanced in terms of its difficulty, I'd say. A lot less gimmicks that were immediately punishing. Kind of bleh with the gimmicks, like I would have liked to see more uses of the Dines, aka the floating spinning tops. That surprise checkpoint was a little bit jerkish, but at least the checkpoint was right next to it, so yeah. I don't know, it's one of those rompy levels, which isn't bad, but I wouldn't say it's like super memorable either. But sad to say that it still beats most of the levels posted to Maker on a daily basis, so eh. Thank you, I'll cover the stage later in the stream. I'm just checking it out right now, just to make sure it exists. Thank you, Power. We'll get there. Your level's 8 up. We're going to number 4. 4th up is Arkanoid Madness DX by Oscar. 130 plays, score 67. Yeah, there are a lot of indie games I want to get to. There's my whole private backlog of games I do want to eventually check out on the channel or on my own time. And away we go. Hit the target. Unlike most of Oscar's recreation levels, this is actually quite interesting. Hit back, man. Well, that's fair. I don't recognize this character. And no, I don't think it's Mario. That doesn't seem right. A bit further back. Bit further. Okay, other way. More. Okay. Updated version of 1 with stuff from the other with 2. Oh yeah. I can clear this out and do it myself too. I mean, this certainly beats most Creeper. This certainly beats most of Oscar's stuff. I hate to say it. Especially their arcade and minigame recreations. Do you know who this person in the background is? Circus Charlie was earlier. I mean, I get a full refill, so I'll take as much advantage of that fact as I can get. Pills here, Dr. Mario. Hello. Oh my goodness, they're desynced. Keep. That's it. Backup strategy. Bit of a close one there. It's a little bit awkward to use the ball like that. Oh no. No, 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 no. Heart. Let me guess, Undertale. I was gonna say the kid, but no. Yeah, call back to Deltarune repainted. I know exactly what you're referring to, Sylph. Balloon Kid? That looks like a balloon to me. It's the character from 100%. Oh, okay. So we're referencing characters not just from arcade or video games, but also stuff from TV series. Yeah, this level feels like it's kind of overstayed its welcome now. Like, don't get me wrong, I appreciate what it's doing, but it's kind of getting samey. And after we defeated the first boss, after we defeated the Booming Trap, that would have been a good place to end it. Attention mark. Again, don't feel afraid to split up levels like this. It's not like we're carrying over meta progression or whatever. Like, we're not carrying. There's no optional items in this stage I've seen. And the Booming Trap would have been a perfect place to end off one, I guess. Maybe this is the part where it ends. Watch as this ends up being his weakness. No, okay, good. Easy, Astro Man. I'll just end off by saying this. There's an art to understanding how long your stages should be, and this one is really overstaying its welcome. Like, I made the same mistake too when I was making some of my Magma levels, especially one in 48 hour, and to some extent, to a lot of extent too. The idea is cool, and I like the different room structures, but they're starting to get too samey, and I'm here to play Mega Man, not Arkanoid. Now, if I was playing Arkanoid, I'd probably have a little bit of a different story, but... Mushroom. No judges are in the scoring. Speaking of which, how's your weekend gaming been? Have you played any new games that seem to tickle your fancy? I concur, Toxin J Butters. Again, I want to echo this point. This stage would have had a perfect place to end right at the boom beam trap. Like, I was saying to take out several of the easier rooms and just compress the stage into half its length, or whatever. Like, have a Super Arkanoid 1 and Super Arkanoid 2, and work from there. Like, there are some more unique room setups, sure, but do we have to wait? Do we have to wait until Act 3 before we can see them? Why not introduce them in Act 2? This is what we're criticizing when we say the pacing of the stage is kind of subpar. Kirby? Why aren't these activating? What am I missing? Oh, so I restart from checkpoints. So yeah, the concept isn't really evolving that much. We're getting harder and more creative setups, sure, but it takes a little bit too long to get to them. Like, this should have been in Act 2. That's what we're trying to tell you, Oscar. We get that you like to make these levels, sure, but can you... My suggestion is in the future, please split this into 2. Hey, Mario. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Arkanoid paddle. Alright, that's it. Boss time. If I can bounce it around 4 times, max power. I win. Oh yeah, or just use more gimmicks other than just the junk blocks and weapon blocks and the Yokus, which are fine and dandy, but could be like late Act 1 stuff. If it was half as long, or if it was at least half as long, I would have given it a thumbs up. Otherwise, it overstays its welcome. Sorry. Thank you, Burning Sticks. Be right back in 1 moment. Back I am! Fifth up is Rickety Rig by Darkonia64. 67 plays, score 29. That's neat, Paul. I wish you the best of luck. Let's see, after this is Jock's level, then Toxin G's level, then Vinny's. Neat visuals. As a reminder to those who have come later, sorry for those who've already heard it twice, tonight I'll be continuing my playthrough of Twilight Mug, and tomorrow morning I'll be playing through the demo of Mega Man W. And if I have time, Mega Man NX as well. And if I have time on top of that, maybe one more game. We'll see. Okay, nice visual cohesion with the overall orange-yellowish color scheme. Orangish, yellowish, reddish color scheme. We got pop-up attacker, sure, but we can see them subtly from below. I want to save the Turbo Blade for the boss fight. Okay. Conveyor of Death. Not exactly the way to do the introduction here, but if this is trying to be a fortress stage, it works. Oh no, yes! I missed the jump. Too far ahead. I realized in the last second that my foot was sticking out too far. Got it. If all the levels so far I covered today, it's the best looking one. And in terms of structure, I think it's the second or best one. Like, if you're talking on the gameplay front, I like this more than Crystal Battleship. I mean, Crystal Battleship could have easily been won if it focused more heavily on its two central gimmicks rather than, I should have just rushed forward. Instead of just, including Yoko's into the mix. Wait, you're mad 24/7? But yeah, certainly improvement. And good job, Jaden. Good job. Like, I knew you had, I'm gonna say passion for most of the day, but I never really used to call it anger. Like, there's a distinct difference in my eyes between passion and anger, but I'm happy to hear that you're happier. Wasn't paying enough attention. I thought the chat... I was looking at chat and I forgot it was on the right side. I thought it was on the left side. Okay, let's actually get past the screen, so I'm speedrunning this now. Thank you, Vinny. Sorry. Quite a few levels on a weekly basis. Some days I have even more and it gets, kinda cramped. But thank you for showing up. What makes this trickier is that there's no special weapon here to make it easier. Alright. Checkpointed. Alright, let's see. Somewhere, somehow, I imagine an alternate reality where I became a Pizza Tower modder and dedicated my weekend streams to AFOM V2. Maybe if I was more into modding, played Pizza Tower, and was perhaps 10 years younger, 5 to 10 years younger. Like, I can easily see an alternate universe of myself where... I can easily see an alternate universe of myself where instead of playing Mega Man games and fan games and ROM hacks, I'd instead be playing Sonic fan games and stuff. Or maybe or in another universe, Mario. To be honest, if it was Sonic fan games and ROM hacks, I'd have a lot more material to talk about. And if it was Mario, depending on which Mario game I was referring to, I'd probably have even more things to talk about in certain ways. Seeing all the SMB, Super Mario World, Super Mario 64, and other ROM hacks available. Not to mention the thousands of fan games. Hundreds if not thousands. That's cool, Jaden. Right. The saltwater corrodes the systems. Tapped. Oh, you're getting addicted to those funny chemicals that are keeping you angry. For every minuscule thing, yeah. Those chemicals may make you feel better in the moment, but they're highly addicting and just harm you in the long run. Being angry isn't necessarily a bad thing, but anger isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you have to put it to constructive efforts instead of destructive ones, and you can't just feel one emotion 100% of the time. That's, in my eyes, a bad thing. The human experience consists of a multitude of emotions and experiences. Like, as much as I like playing Mega Man fan games and this ROM hacks, although the later scenes kind of drying up, they're blown out of the water by excuse me. As much as I like playing the Mega Man fan games and to a lesser extent ROM hacks, they're easily blown out of the water by the stuff the Mario and Sonic fandom does. Especially with their fan games and ROM hacks. Again, there's so much new material coming out on a daily basis in those fandoms, the fan gaming, fan work scenes, that I would have a lot more to talk about there, and honestly, I wouldn't have to pad out some of the streams as much. But that's due to the nature of having more skilled people. But that's more due to the cause of those but that's more because those fandoms and fan gaming scenes and fan work scenes in general is being a lot larger than Mega Man is or ever was. And how they cross over with a lot more fandoms in general, especially Sonic IMO. This is one of the many reasons why I love Sage. And why I always go out of my way to cover more games there than I usually would. Next up is Recon Man, Gunner Force by Jerox74, 89 plays and a score of 39. Now there are a few classic and quote-unquote classic and quote-unquote infamous Mega Man fan games I haven't covered yet. But I will get around to doing those in the near future. Like, I did cover Proto Man's Return in terms of quote-unquote classic. But in terms of quote-unquote infamous, there is one fan game in particular I do want to cover. No, I'm not talking about no, I'm not talking about Project Zero. That's a different one. Nor am I talking about Mega Man Alpha? No, that's not the name. Well, whatever it's called, it stars Mega Man's quote-unquote OC brothers. I'm more referring to a Mega Man in Paradise. Really, Jaden? That game? I think you're overestimating the quote-unquote harm that game did. Like, there are many games which cause some issues with the... I know there are issues with the discourse, but that game in general, I thought we were all laughing about how it was done. Even those who actually like talking about the connection to the X series, they laughed at that too. If you want to talk about a game that had more influence about the discourse, that would be Mega Man Unlimited's ending. Like, I don't know where you're getting... Like, I don't know where you're getting that statement about how Project Zero was that influential to the whole discourse. I'm curious. Because at least for as far as I know, no one really liked that game. We just enjoyed riffing on it. Oh shoot, yeah, thank you for reminding me about that, Jay Butters. I need to also cover Revenge of the Fallen. Because that was also kind of influential to me, so, before I do that, however, I am gonna have to route that because, oh my goodness. That game is... I know that game follows a level-based structure. The issue is that the... Not really... Okay, the thing is, it's not... Technically, it's not an issue. The thing is that the levels are pretty long, the game feels like it plays at slower pace than usual Mega Man fare. And because of how many upgrades and how special weapons affect the order, it's almost functionally a Metroidvania, despite having a discrete level select screen. Like, a lot of optional collectibles are only collectible if you have a certain upgrades and or special weapons unlocked. And depending on the routing, that'll affect how much backtracking you'll have to do. Not to mention the secret stage versus Nightman, or how difficult the boss fights are. Or how the charge shot kind of, is not the best at the start. But that's enough, that is enough, actually. And, things, we'll talk more about that later. Alright, got it for... I'm sorry, Jedok. I should be talking a little bit more about your stage, and I went into a diatribe again about, Mega Man Fanny is going to cover in the future for various reasons. It's a forest. Filled with gunners. And, decent visuals. I'm gonna say this, Jay Butters. I don't mind the Metroidvania design. I don't mind the Metroidvania design of the Roadmaster stages, but did the Wily Fortress really have to be 8 stages long? Seriously? Like, I appreciate the somewhat lengthier and more labyrinthine stages that allow for replayability, backtracking, and exploration of optional goodies, and how every single stage has optional goodies that if you are careful, attentive, and have the right abilities, power-ups, you can actually collect. I like that. That's because I like to play Metroidvanias. But this is why I prefer playing that over the abridged version, because the abridged version, all things considered, is very mid. Like, okay, it shortened the stages, sure, but it's also got rid of the upgrades, exploration. It pretty much got rid of all the best parts of Revenge of the Fallen, and left behind the weakest parts. And it honestly had even less creative level design than the original. Like, okay, with a few of the stages, I do agree that the stages are too long, but the way the bridge fixed it also got rid of a lot of the unique aspects, when it probably shouldn't have. There is an art to shortening long stages, but you need to be careful so you don't just remove the best parts. Anyways, that was my second TED Talk for today. Give me a moment to recharge so I can have my next TED Talk, this time on the inevitable Sonic discussion. Yishishi, thank you! Eternal's, I'm gonna dare say Eternal's actually better because it actually features unique RMs. Huh? Sorry, whenever I see it, I think Squid on? What? I have... Honestly, the other reason why Mega Man Revenge of the Fallen feels so long is because the overall pacing of the game, due to the engine, feels slower. Like... I really think Wolf should not have used the Mega Man Rocks engine for that game. That was not... Like, Mega Man Rocks engine was already kind of a... Okay. Mega Man Rocks engine, which, again... Mega Man Rocks is another fan game I'm gonna play in the future. Okay, back to the story. Rocks' engine was never really good in the first place. It was... very janky and unpolished and rough around the edges. Now, using that for Revenge of the Fallen, it resulted in the entire gameplay flow feeling slower paced than it should have. And it felt like the game was running at half speed or 66% of the speeds it should have. And that made the lengthier stages feel even worse. I'm not saying those stages were bad, it's just that... Like, if you were to replicate down to the level design all the regular stages in Revenge of the Fallen in Mega Man Maker, they'd immediately play better. Because of the better engine, actual consistent 60 FPS gameplay, and feeling it runs 100%. Alright, I guess it was okay, the stage itself. Alright, responding. I mean, I am gonna play a few Sonic and Mario fan games in the near future. Correction. Like, I have played a few Mario fan games on the channel before, and I think one Sonic fan game? Indirectly, Sonic? So yeah, I will do that. Like, I will play fan games from other fandoms as well, like Mario, Sonic, Castlevania, definitely. Zelda, maybe. But Mega Man's gonna be my core fan game base. For now, at least. After all, my other major focus on the channel is indie games, and quite a few of them take direct inspiration from those fandoms. Remember Freedom Planet? Remember Spark? What if there was a fan game where it was an old Roadmaster but they all use a different definition of the name? That would be cool. Novel. Yeah. Revenge of the Fallen used Roxas engine, which it was already kind of it's still, let me put it this way. Roxas engine was already kind of meh for Rox itself. We're using it for Revenge of the Fallen. Even though it was souped up a bit, not ideal. Like, you're gonna see me defend Revenge of the Fallen more than I say. Let me put it this way. Overall, I think the game is kind of eh. Like, unless you like Metroidvanias as much as I do, I don't exactly recommend that game. Especially due to its pacing issues. But I still appreciate for what the game did, and I would really like to see a remaster done in a better engine, like the Megamix engine, or whatever Mega Man W's engine is gonna be. Because it desperately needs that first. Like, the first thing I would do to improve Revenge of the Fallen is port it over to a superior engine, please. Because let's face it, it feels kind of sluggish. You know how I criticized Mega Man Maverick for feeling a little bit sluggish? Last week I criticized Mega Man Maverick for feeling a bit sluggish. Revenge of the Fallen feels worse. Anyways, enough of that discussion, Maverick. Next stage. At least I want to do 2 stages before I go on to my next TED Talk, please. Okay, we have something promising coming up. Not only is it an MMMLC level, it is one made by the Venerable Toxin, who has almost always put out bangers or interesting stages. 7th up is MMMLC Tornado Zeppelin by Toxin G, 137 plays and a score of 75. Probably certified banger ahead. This is an example level for the target test contest. Oh! It's been quite a while since I've seen a stage which specifically uses the NATO as your primary weapon. Like, the last time I've seen that happen was way back in version 1.1 or 1.2. After that, people wised up to the sheer power that the NATO brings. Alien. Like before, we didn't know how powerful the NATO could be, especially when you could chain it like this. Like, if you could only use the NATO once before it hits solid ground, it wouldn't be so good. But the fact I can just keep chaining it like this, yeah, it completely breaks a lot of level design. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Oh, that's how... Okay, that's cool. You switch direction by hitting those weapon centers. See, this is a really cool way of using the NATO for an actual challenging set of challenges. Let me in! Here, for example, I have to be careful so I don't hit the blocks. I know there's a way I can do this. Too high. If I can just... Okay. Now the hard part. I overshot. I was waiting for one of these screens to eventually happen to really test my mettle with using this. Okay, that first one is a little kind of tight unless you do quick weapon swapping. Okay. Yeah, you may want to ease up on that screen by one block. At least the first part of it. Most stages, when they include the NATO, it's for a simple form of mobility, or for as a Roadmaster weakness, or as an extra bonus for you to break the stage or what have you. But here, oh my goodness. Away we go! But here you build an actual stage around using it to its full potential. Bravo, Toxin, bravo. Because of this, this easily wins my fair level of the episode. Pat yourself on the back. Oh my goodness, get back here. Yeah, if I was actually good at this game, I could do it in just 3 runs. This is like running 10 or 12. Alright, one more I think? Yeah. Like, very creative use of its main central oh my... Goodbye. Very creative use of its... I want to do it one more time. It's just so fun to look at. No! Very fun use of a central mechanic. Oh, that's it. I wanted one more minute of this. As I was saying, very fun and creative use of its central mechanics and how it interplays with the NATO, which again tends to be used as a kind of like a get out of jail free card, or a broken weapon, or a special weapon weakness. It's never used, it's almost pretty much never used, emphasis on almost never, as a central level design guiding philosophy, like building the stage around the NATO itself as a special weapon challenge. It's done for many other weapons, but the NATO I've barely seen done for it. And when it has been done for it, it's never as good to this extent as I've seen. So for that, it's my fair level of the episode. Also, my fair special weapon oriented stage for the month. Excellent job, Toxin. The only way I can improving this is to ease up that one room which I kinda got stuck on, maybe by removing 1 or 2 of those weapon setter blocks, and maybe making the stage 30 seconds longer. But in retrospect, this is a good way to finish off the stage, so this is coming out of me wanting to see more of this challenge, more than the actual stage needing to be longer, really. So yeah, if I could double thumbs this up, I would. Alright, Vinny, you're next. 8 up is Dark Medieval by Vinny Z27. 41 plays and a score of 9. A bit of an older stage. This is 4.5 years old now. Hey Buster, welcome to stream. You missed my favorite stage for the stream and one of my favorite stages of the month. So yeah, this was made back in version 1.6? I can't recall the version numbers off the top of my head. I'm not that big of a Mega Man Maker fanboy. Or hardcore fan. Gosh. My mouth feels dirty after uttering the words fanboy. I much prefer using the word dedicated fan or hardcore fan. Oh yeah, as you weren't here, I'm gonna repeat my disclaimer. Tonight, I'll be streaming Twilight Monk, and tomorrow morning, I'm gonna be streaming a demo of Mega Man W. Along with Mega Man NX if I have time. And maybe something else after that, we'll see. E for everyone. I will warn you though that the demo is shorter than expected for various reasons, so keep that. And I know the walking animation is a little bit funky, we'll see about that. Touché, Burning Sticks, touché. And here I taught my Let's Play series of Skyforge was going to be long. Like, I estimated 200 episodes before I grew too disinterested in the MMO. And look where I am today with over 750 plus episodes of Mega Man Maker, a few which are not even public because of various reasons. Like, when I first started this channel, I thought the only way I'd get over 200 or 300 parts for a series was if I was playing an MMO. Back then, the term live service wasn't even in my lexicon. Yeah. Okay. And look where I am today. To be fair, people like Simple Flips probably have way more raw episodes of stuff like Mario Maker 1 and 2. Or Mega Marino, whose one of his missions is to play every single level that has been on Mega Man Maker, that still is on the server. They'll blow me out of the water. Like, I've played somewhere around at least 5,000 or 6,000 levels across this LP's history. Meanwhile, Mega Marino has, what is it, 50,000? 60,000? Could someone check the number, please? Darn, if only someone made an easily accessible user-generated content game. That's why, despite all the criticisms I and many others have made of Maker around the years, many reasonable, many unreasonable, that's why it's stayed so relevant this years, even though we're well past its prime. Regular content updates, a relatively simple to use system for building levels, and importantly on top of that, an easy way to share levels with your friends without having to jump through hoops. But yeah, I'm not a big enough fan of this game to know the differences of the versions or when they released. Nine Souls is one of those games that I thought was going to be more popular, but it never actually became. But it's become more of a hidden gem. I really don't want to play it right now because, I don't want to play a super hardcore title right now. Or a hardcore title. Because you know how long I struggled against the second boss in that during the demo. You were there. It feels great to play, but it expects a lot out of you. Mmm, popcorn. I would have also sampled Sonic Studio, but its release has been delayed for various reasons. Again, don't get me wrong, on the Mario fan gaming side, there are some pretty powerful level building tools as well. Like on the ROM hacking side for Super Mario World, there's Lunar Magic. On the SM64 side, I think there was someone made an SM64 maker. Not to mention a decomp and heavy documentation of various assets. Most of the assets or all the assets of the game, making stuff easy to make there. Not to mention we also have stuff like is it goodbye. What is that fan game creator? SMBX, yeah, SMBX 2, that's what I'm referring to. Yeah, then we have stuff like SMBX 2, which also gives a lot of creativity and flexibility for making things. And honestly, in some ways offers even more power compared to Maker. But it's not as easy to share levels there. There's no central server to upload things directly from the game itself exactly. You have to upload to another site and let other players play it, which increases the barrier to entry. I know the barrier isn't really that large, but there is a greater barrier than just downloading the base game and downloading levels on the fly. Oh, how do you submit popcorn? Leave the level ID in chat. Oh yeah, Super Mario Construct is another cool one. Yeah, Mario Maker is cool and all, but even compared to its contemporaries, even compared to its fan contemporaries, it was quite limited. Oh, Yol Studios? Sure thing. I'll carve it after the next stage. Okay, this was kind of an fortress stage. It does its job going through a night fortress, but it feels kind of plain. I know this is 5 years. I know this is 4.5 years ago, but I think it could have done a little bit more with some of the gimmicks and mechanics. Not bad. It's just plotting. SMBX2 I'm referring to, not the original. Although you're probably referring to both. I mean, I've seen a lot of cool stuff done with SMBX, so that's why I'm referencing it. Thank you, Popcorn. Thank you all. Yet the best feature of Mario Maker is how easy... Okay, I need to... Never mind. Let me rephrase my statement because I've realized the problem with it. Mario Maker's best features were the ease, the quote-unquote ease of making Mario levels, at least for the general public and hardcore fans, as well as the degree of interactivity between the objects and how you could combine them together for other interesting effects. In Mega Man Maker, it's a little bit more complex how well objects interact with each other. In Mario Maker, it's a little bit more novel with how the combos work. In Maker, it's more due to novel physics interactions, which is why I love the blocks so much. In Maker, it's more discrete stuff. Mega Man Maker can also do that, but it's a little bit more of a hassle. Then again, you get a lot more flexibility and options, so I guess you need a more dedicated tutorial for that. I was also going to say Maker's other cool thing is how easy it is to upload and share levels. Only half of that's really true. Like, it's relatively straightforward to upload levels, To share them is a little bit more complicated. For a game that's designed for creating and sharing your levels, especially with friends, Nintendo sure made it difficult to actually share your stages with friends. Mega Man Maker can actually be quite complex with some of the interactions and assets you have. Like, in terms of interactions, for the most part, I think Mario Maker has it beat. But in terms of the sheer number of assets available and that cover different avenues, as well as the number of, or rather lack thereof, of restrictions in the engine, or the Maker provides, Mega Man Maker has Mario Maker beat. Like Mario Maker 1 and 2 has quite a few restrictions on what assets can be used together. When I say assets, I'm talking about stuff like enemies, backgrounds, gimmicks, mechanics, level elements, etc. More restrictions than you would think are necessary. Oh yeah, compared to SMX, definitely. Like, Mario Maker is, I say, easy, Mega Man Maker is medium, relatively. SMBX is more complicated. And I appreciate it for that. Thank you for catching me on that. Yeah, I don't understand why Mario Maker doesn't have a get level code button. I'm kinda surprised Nintendo didn't have that. Level Head's also cool. Heard a lot of good things about it. Little Big Planet I don't have enough experience of, but I know a lot of people love it, so I'll do that. I've tried using SMBX before and have built 1 or 2 levels there, but it's not as trivial as the 2 aforementioned games. Alright, 9th up is Rocket Bass by Top Vet. 59 plays and a score of 23. I'm guessing Top Vet is you, Burning Sticks. Hey, just a pile driver. We're going right to left. Ouch. Right. Ow. Let me in. Quick weapon swapping for the win. Making this weapon a lot more handy. Oh yeah, I may have another stream on Sunday evening. We'll see. Whoa. I'll see. Haha, one shot. Speaking of special weapon-oriented gimmick stages, what if Mighty No. 9's level design actually made use of the fact you basically have infinite air dashing? If I'm ever gonna cover the original Mighty No. 9, it's only gonna be for April Fools or similar. I'm not gonna spend money for it otherwise, no. There are at least 1,000 other games I want to cover before it. And at least 2,000 other games after it, which are gonna come directly off of the 1,000. Like, 1,000 games I know I want to cover on the channel, and probably 2,000 more after that, which I'll come to realize after I beat that 1,000. Will I ever beat my backlog? Probably not, but I want to at least make somewhat of a dent in it. Yeah, Deer Simulator is probably one of the 2000. But yeah. Yeah, to answer the question, I won't ever fully beat my backlog because mainly of two things. One is how long it is and the sheer amount of time required to beat those games. Second, I regularly add new games to the backlog on a weekly basis. Okay, that's cool. In order to defeat it, I have to keep using the explosion. That's a neat way of having this sort of boss fight and slowing it down a little bit. Without overextending is welcome because it only requires 14 hits. G freaking G. If I lived that long, J-Butters, probably. The question is, 1/3 of the backlog could mean multiple things. It could mean like 300 games, or it could mean like 2,000 games, because they keep adding new stuff to the backlog on a weekly basis. Again, mostly indie stuff. I am going to have to, in sometime in the future, whether it be in a month, a year, or a few years, I am going to have to reorganize or add a new field to my backlog. So I can actually prioritize what games I want to cover when. Organizing my backlog versus, I want to cover these games immediately. Versus, oh, I can wait a day or two, a week, a month, a year, or maybe. Also categories for stuff where this is a key game or this is a request. I need to get to these faster. Green Greg. Okay, as for the stage itself, sorry I didn't really talk about it as much. It's a neat idea, and I actually say it's a cool tutorial stage, or maybe a second tutorial stage for using the pile driver. I know I kind of made mincemeat out of it by using the pause trick / quick weapon switch trick, but it just made this fun. It just made the stage flow faster and more enjoyable. It's still perfectly doable without it. And they say streamers have it easy in life. Depends on which streamers. This is why I can't criticize. Some of those video game streamers who stream on a daily basis and specifically go on an effort to beat the games they have, especially the ones with hundreds of games in the backlog. Especially the ones with bigger audiences. Not just TF2, other multiplayer games. Yeah, see you on the next reincarnation. Make sure the multi-class wizard. Once I add the priority system for my backlog, I'll share a public version of it. Just like how I have a public, although it's a little bit out of date, public list of games I have available on Steam and Epic Game Store. Anyways. 10th up is Mega Man Prism Shockman Amusement Park by Gumi1999. 15 plays and a score of 1. Ah, Gumi. That's one of my favorite Pokemon lines from Gen 6. Right. I'm grabbing this just in case. I'll try my best not to use it. A smile has encapsulated you. Skill issue. Just beat the games. Unfortunately for most of the games, it's not actually a skill issue. It's worse. It's a time issue. Like, even if I streamed every single day, like, if I streamed once every day for 2 to 3 hours, It'll still probably take about 20 years to beat the entire... it'd still probably take 20 years before I can actually defeat the backlog. I say defeat because at this point it feels like a super boss. Ultra, Super, Mega, Hyper, Terra, Exa boss. I'm dead. And this is without taking a vacation. And keep in mind when I say backlog, I'm also covering ROM hacks and fan games, so not just the release titles. And just put 40 hours of playtime into one afternoon. Ah yes, 2 consecutive afternoons, no break. Final destination. And yeah, I am gonna stream Undertale because I really want to play Undertale Yellow. Oh yeah, to answer your question, Jaden, I'm gonna get back to Snow Bros. Wonderland once my friends are ready. Right now we're kind of, most of my friends are busy with other things. So I'm gonna put that playthrough on hold until we're done with that. And yes, that also includes Deltarune because why not? Yep, played and beat. I've played Neutral, I played Pacifist, True Pacifist, and I've seen the Genocide playthrough for the original Undertale. I don't know all the secrets for sure because, let's face it, some of the secrets require multiple playthroughs in order to get lucky. Like, I don't know mostly what's up with Gaster. Plus, some of the backstory about the monsters and how they function, that's also kind of, yeah. I say function, I mean their biology and origin. Have I tried Unitail? Is that the battle simulator? Yes, I have then. That's how I fought Sans Genocide mode. Without playing Genocide. Or No Mercy, take your pick. Oh no. Let me out. Oh shoot. I mean, the reason why I didn't do a Genocide run-through is just because I didn't find it... I know exactly... is that I found it kind of boring other than a few spots. I know exactly why it was done that way. That was part of the story. Part of the message. But... the best parts of that are the... okay, the best parts of that playthrough are the differences in story, the general overall creepy atmosphere, and the fights against Undyne, the Undying, and Sans. Rat. Like, those two boss fights are some of the best boss fights in the game. I'm not gonna lie. Exactly, Sylv. That's part of the meta narrative of Undertale. And why I keep recommending to people that you shouldn't play Undertale as your first JRPG or turn-based JRPG or similar. You'll miss a lot of what makes it special without doing that. Now, Deltarune is a little bit of a different story. Like, I get why people say Undertale's great, and I agree, but I feel like in order to properly understand what makes Undertale good is you have to play at least one or two other JRPGs which are more traditional instead of... When I say JRPGs, I mean traditional, mostly traditional. Okay, maybe some parodies or satirical ones would do, but be careful. Like, without that experience, I feel Undertale's kind of... Oh my goodness. I'm trying to find the right one to say it. It's... Okay, I'll say it this way. It's not as good... Undertale is not as good if you don't have the experience of playing some traditional JRPG, at least one JRPG before that, because a lot of the meta narrative and jokes rely on that. Let me out. That was kind of on me. It's kind of hard to say without going too much into spoiler territory, but you probably all know why at this point. The Elder Rune did fix a lot of that. That is the funniest part, Sunflora. Or the Scream movies, Jaden. Like, especially Scream 1. Okay, let's do this the fair way. Oh, I see the problem. Okay. Invisible ceiling there. If the ceiling didn't exist, it would be a lot fairer, but... I mean, if you played Mario & Luigi RPG, that should be a good enough experience. Like, at least one traditional JRPG. Like, or semi-traditional. Yeah, I'm gonna jump down. Yeah, I know it's... I want that key, by the way. Can I reach it? Nope. Wait, what? Spikes? Like, as much as Mario & Luigi is kind of a goofy game, and has a lot of... it's a heavy focus on comedy, outside of how the battles play out when you enter the random encounters, it's actually kind of... well, it's semi-traditional. Because... I need to phrase this carefully when I say traditional. Traditional in the sense of how the progression works, sort of. Or semi-traditional, because there's a heavy emphasis on platforming and gaining abilities, especially in 1, and revisiting earlier areas. And the battles themselves are a lot more active. Undertale, well, it's kind of similar in Mario & Luigi in that way, because the battles themselves are basically bullet hell. Bullet hell dodge 'em ups with some where attacking enemies is very straightforward, and doing it pacifistically is the more interesting part, because you actually have to sometimes do mini puzzles or understand what the monsters want. Oh, pfft. The other problem with the balls is sometimes you hit them you would think you hit them at the top, in reality it's a bit on the side. It's on the third darkness screen. Oh, I see it. One sec. Yeah, Undertale is mostly traditional turn-based JRPG, with the exception of the battles being like bullet hell encounters where you dodge enemy attacks. Attacking is very straightforward. It's when you try doing it pacifistically, that's where it gets interesting, because you have to communicate with the monsters, play around with them, see how they actually, their personalities, so to speak. Other than that, it's and the funny characters and the story, that it's gameplay-wise kind of bleh. Deltarune improves upon it by having more interesting patterns and actually having more creative ways of dealing with enemies, and actually makes attacking it more interesting. Drat. Well, I guess I'm not getting that now. I really would have preferred if there was a checkpoint right before that section, because I don't think you were intending to make it that hard. I'm just kind of stuck with the balls there. The important thing is that Deltarune is an evolution of Undertale. Toby Fox and co. smartly understood that they couldn't just do the same thing over and make an Undertale 2. So instead they had basically a spiritual successor, which implements a lot of the same thing, which implements many of the same things that Undertale did to be awesome, but expands upon them, especially on the gameplay battlefront. Like, it's way more creative in the gameplay front. Read Chapter 2. This is why I only recommend Undertale after you play JRPG first, and then Deltarune. But Deltarune, you can do it regardless. At last! After waiting 7 years in the moon, I'm out! Part of the stage's difficulty is more to my fault of not doing this the right way. The other thing is that, with these bouncy balls, it can be a little bit awkward too. Like, if I was playing through the stage as a level pack, this would not be the first stage I'd select to go through. Not without some other special weapons. Like, maybe a pile driver. This is why, wisely in Mega Man 11 in Bounce Man stage, most enemies don't actually respawn. Enemies only respawn after you explicitly exit and re-enter a room, not walk off screen. Okay, that's how you do it. Ow. The Capcom level designers realized that respawning enemies by going slightly off screen every time you bounce would be frustrating. So it's wise of them to have the enemies never respawn unless they're explicitly placed out by spawners, or you re-entered the room itself. Yeah, field puzzles, they were done better in Deltarune. Yeah, I could see the problem with that. I don't mind levels having different numbers of checkpoints, but I think I just made that unintentionally hard on myself. Because otherwise the stage, for the most part, isn't really that difficult. That was just more on me screwing up so much. So much for the speedrun. Now get us out of this place. Yeah, also having us check after 6 screens to see. Okay, the only so here's my recommendation for that section. Remove the ceiling for that jump and I'd be happy. Or have the ceiling explicitly be on screen. But otherwise, thank you for sending it. Chara isn't necessarily evil, but you as a player can choose to be. I thought it applied to all screens, J Butters, but I need to double check. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Do I accept multiple levels from the same person in the same stream? Yes, I do. The thing is though, I do it in a round robin fashion. So once I finish one designer, I go on to the next one, the next one. Only on rare occasions where the two levels are very distinctly connected to each other, strongly connected, or they're very short where I'll just cover them back to back, or very close to each other. Otherwise, I'll probably cover it like next week. This level is fine, I guess. It's heavier use of its main mechanics, so I appreciate that. But it's a little, like, especially compared to something like Vinny's level. Sorry to use as a comparison. But the last section could be reworked a little bit. Congrats, Jaden. Keep in mind, this is where my knowledge of Undertale gets a bit spotty because, so forgive me if I spout misinformation about who Chara actually is. But from my understanding, Chara is, or at least the Chara we see in the game, is kind of a sociopath. Well, not kind of, is. I need to make it clear that when I say when we're talking about Chara here, we're talking about the Chara who is in the game who does those things and tries convincing you to do it, committing violence. Okay, so time for some lore questions, because this is where my gaps in knowledge really become apparent. Did Chara try killing people before he died? I know Azrael was killed by some humans outside Mount Ebott. I wanna clarify some things before I get around to playing Undertale again. This is Undertale, so there's probably thousands upon thousands of lore and dissection videos. Lore dissection videos. I'll call it that because it's funnier. Okay, so to get the timeline right, Chara fell into the underground, where they became friends with Azrael. Chara hated humans for some reason. How did Chara die again? I know Azrael walked out with him and he got attacked by villagers outside, but Chara got sick. Alright. Discord, activate. Oh, okay. Thank you for correcting me, Butters. I thought it applied to all stages, but apparently not. Thank you for the correction. Alright, Chara's plan was to get sick so they can take the body to the village. Why do they hate humans? No explanation given, but at a certain point does it matter. Also, as an important note, they poisoned Asgore's drink as a prank. That is a very important point there. Like, the second comment, sure, but if they really poisoned it, that goes to show it's not just that they dislike humanity for some reason. Like, you could make an argument that they were abused and they did that, sure. Or was an orphan. If Chara went out of their way to menace the Dreamer family, who we know for a fact are overall good people before the whole tragedy started, I think it goes to show that Chara and by extension Asriel are kind of unreliable characters. Kind of is an understatement of the century. Like, I think it goes to show that Chara, for the one Chara to talk about and refer to, they were at the very least a sociopath, if not a psychopath. Like the friendship between Chara and Asriel was more like one way. Like, it was more Asriel being a friend to Chara than the other way around. That's my theory. Yeah, that's psychotic behavior. I honestly start to believe with how they behaved in the past and the genocide round and everything else. I can totally see why humanity would reject them very easily. Like, I think that's like Frisk, on the other hand, as being controlled by the player in most routes, and that are not genocide, they're a better they seem to be a better person than Chara ever was. Frankly, they seem like I hate to make. I know this is kind of a funky comparison, but they kind of remind me of the Joker, without being funny. Anyways, I'm sorry, Popcorn, but we need to get. I want to get to your stage, so let's do it. Sorry to keep you waiting. We'll keep the conversation going about this while I go to the stage. 11th up is Windman, but it's reimagined by Popcorn Master 42 with 44 plays and a score of 20. Thing is, Jaden, there are many different Jokers. And yeah, Joker has his standards of trying to be somewhat funny, whatever his twisted brand of humor is. Chara, from all the interactions I've seen in the game and recall, yeah, the main goal is determination. Determination to eliminate all life for some reason. Or maybe, oh well, we know the actual reason. The reason is for the sake of it. Chara at their core is basically, what if determination was an end to itself? What if determination was just used for evil? I'll say. That's the easiest way I can describe it. Why do we keep referring to Chara as she? Was it ever actually said Chara was actually a she? That's why I keep referring to them as they. Yeah, I know Frisk is never revealed, deliberately so, because player avatar. And it fits better with Chara if we don't know. Or then doesn't really matter either. Chris I've seen more usually fanonized as a boy. Chris I've seen usually fanonized as a boy. Frisk, it actually depends really. I've seen just as many canons which canonize him as a boy as non-binary. Why are we in ROM hack win, man? I don't know. While having this entire discussion, we accidentally wandered into a ROM hack. But okay, I need to modulate my statement because Jay Butters does have a point. In most routes, Frisk ends up turning out better than Chara. However, in the Genocide route, completed Genocide, Frisk ends up being worse because Chara may be a psychopath, but Frisk took it even further and actually went along and killed every single thing they came across. Well, not every single okay, I need to clarify. Sorry, not just every single monster they came across, but went out of their way to kill everyone who was left in the area. Just for the sake of it. Just to see what would happen. In that way, worse. I know that line, that's a question. That kind of goes into the point of a little bit of unreliable narrator, like... I feel Chara's been influencing Frisk throughout all the routes. It's just that in the Genocide route, Frisk completely gives in and follows Chara's whims completely. And when I say Frisk, I'm referring, to the player. In every route, Frisk resists in every route, other than Genocide, Frisk resists Chara's influence. Even in the neutral routes, Frisk does resist it because they don't go out of their way to kill everything. Even when it doesn't make sense. It's simply that in Pacifist, they completely ignore it, resist it. Oh, yeah, thank you. Like, I mean, Newbie and Buster's points can be true at the same time. That's what makes Frisk so scary. I mean, that's what makes Chara... Sorry, I keep mixing up the names. This is what makes Chara so scary. There's such an omnipresent threat in all the routes. And what makes them scary is that we don't even know the reason. Like, they seem to be just doing it because they... It seems like the only reason they're just going through all their actions is because they can. Like, no reasons given at all. Not that it really matters when you think about it. What are you talking about, Sylph? Why is What logic do you have that Char is in Deltarune? Like, something clearly is happening with Chris there, but there's no confirmation about that. Who or what actually is. Like, clearly there's something else. Clearly something else is involved. There's some entity or else involved that also is influencing Chris. And we haven't actually met Asriel in the real world either, so the light world. Also, if you're watching this popcorn, my apologies for the discussions on the Undertale verse instead of your stage. I guess the best way to describe your stage is like ROM hack a Windman. Thank you. Yeah, you can stop genocide whenever you please, and once you do, the route becomes a neutral route. It's if you decide to go fully through the genocide route, it's when Chara's words ring true the most. Like, all this time you could have chosen to take a different path, but instead you followed Chara's whims completely, in which case, they're functioning in control. They may not have direct control over Frisk, but they followed their entire whims, so... And yeah, if we want to pull back and talk about Chara, oh, GG or 66, if we're going to talk about who Chara actually is, they're basically an allegory for player characters in JRPGs who just go out of their way to kill thousands upon thousands of monsters just for experience. Even those that aren't even necessary. Just for the sake of leveling up. Like, it's one thing to come across and kill all the monsters that oppose you. It's another thing to go out of your way to just kill even more on top of that to level up. Why do you think EXP stands for execution points instead of experience points? Or the whole thing about LOVE. And frankly, the whole thing about Chara's statements is that I don't even trust them completely. Like, they've already been proven to be unreliable. They could be just making a post-exacto justification in several routes about what they're doing, how they actually have more control over you than they actually do, lying so that you end up following their demands more than you should. Yeah, Chara just 100%s the world. Yeah, 100% finishes the world. Yeah, that's why I take everything Chara says and Asriel says to a certain extent with a grain of salt, bucket of salt. When they said that last statement about control at the end of Genocide, that's because you followed their entire whims. Not because they literally have control, more because you followed their every whim, so in effect, control. Right. And that doesn't exactly contradict my statement, Buster, because in order to ensure that they maintain control of the situation, they end the player. That's the only way to confirm that they don't break out. But again, that's just me. In the end, Char is just a sad, sad individual who just wants to 100% destroy the world just for the sake of power and for the sake of determination. As an allegory, and the more you follow them, the further you approach full genocide. Jaden, we're responding to your comments. You're not being ignored. Oh yeah, as for your stage win, man, it is basically reimagined slash ROM hack, so I'd say it's about the same as the original stage, but we're missing a few enemies, so not better, not worse. Yeah, of all the people here, Popcorn's getting ignored, and my apologies. It's just that your stage doesn't really stand out compared to the other things we've seen today, like Toxin G's, Burning Sticks, Nuclear Stomp, Sunflora's, Darkonius' levels. So my apologies. Because the reason why Buster called ROM hack and I agreed is because it is reimagined, yes, but it doesn't feel like it does enough to feel better. It just feels like a different take on the same level with the same quote-unquote quality. Yeah, Windman, but slightly longer and different. Not bad, not good. But thank you for this elucidative discussion on Undertale. It really cleared my mind. It cleared up a few things, a few points I forgot about. Thank you. Hang on one moment before I can get the last level in. Maybe two. I'm just setting up one last thing, I'll get there. Okay, got it. Let us resume. Oh, you also did Nightman. Okay. So the 12th and final level of the stream is In the Everlasting Freeze, Mega Speedruns Collab, with 21 plays and a score of 7. And part of this collab, Nuclear Stomp worked on this. We'll get to Celeste. But again, thank you viewers for these great discussions. It's why I come back to stream stuff like Mega Man Maker on a daily basis. It's not so much based on the levels, even though a few of them are so awesome. It's more because of these funny discussions that randomly show up. A wintry graveyard stage. Not a setting combination we usually see around these areas. Usually graveyards take place in a dark stage or grim boneyard. Here it's frosty. Oh my gosh, that's so sad. Alexa, play Despacito. Sorry for those who have that and is now playing it. And I'll find many other ways to make jokes about stages. Now don't get me wrong, there are a few pretty good levels on a weekly basis. Like during the stream, there are at least 5 of them there's at least 5 or 6 of them which are cool enough to stand out. Especially 2 of them. Like Toxin G's level easily is awesome. Not to mention Sunflora burning... Not to mention Sunflora burning, Darkonius, Nuclear... And a little bit of Gumi stage. It's just the rest are kind of, we'll see. Oh! Boing. Oh, I see it. Like, if all the levels were up to snuff, I'd be talking more about them. This is why I spent so much time talking about, in contrast, Toxin G's level. Or Oscar's level for a different reason. This is another level which is actually quite interesting because, it has a nice use of it. It has a nice use of its aesthetics, and the gimmicks and enemies here are pretty neat. Also has a less common setting combination. Oh my goodness. I was tricked. And the jape almost killed me. Oh, Luca. Right, I don't need to do anything here. Well, it's one of the special aspects of the Lace version of Maker. It's pretty cool. Oh, Luca's Madeline. Yeah, I'm sorry, of all the characters in Luca wait, Luca's Madeline? Madeline doesn't exist in Luca. You're referring to Death of a Wish. Well, she sort of, well, she may exist in Luca, but as a different character. Oops. Same universe, but if we're going to use the correct name, we should either say Death of a Wish or the Paradiso duology. Proper naming conventions are important here. Ouch. Especially as more people know of Death of a Wish than Luca 2. Yeah, of all the characters that are featured in Luca, Madeline is not one of the most memorable ones, I'm afraid. Sorry. She's not part of the central group. Ouch. Alright. Keep jumping. Oh no, I'm dead. No? Maybe? Yeah? Like, she's not part of the core group. She does sort of help, She does somewhat help, but yeah. Naomi is kind of in a weird position though, because she's a creation of the original Dreamer. So we may actually see a clone of her, or a different iteration on her. Like the Dreamer... Okay, when I say the Dreamer, I'm referring to the true Anna. Not the one we saw in the dream... Not the one we saw in Paradiso. The actual one in the real world. Like, the Dreamer has dreamed up more than just Naomi and the fake Anna. So we may see some... Oh boy. Ongoing train accident. So we may see a different take on someone like Naomi. Yeah. So recall what I was saying about this? Excuse me. This is one of the more memorable stages, if only because the level design's actually posing somewhat of a challenge and is novel, plus a neat combination of gimmicks, settings. And hey, you're actually using the trains in interesting ways. Less rewards were left, No? Oh, okay. They don't explode immediately. Shame, platform doesn't extend for... You mean the Earth? I hesitate to call that the real world because, that implies that the stuff that happens in Paradiso doesn't matter. It does matter. If it didn't matter, then the ending of one, would make sense. If it didn't matter, then the ending in Luca would not make sense. Because something important that I didn't really talk about during that LP is that, okay, Chris existed both in regular Earth and Paradiso, but Luca, she was born in Paradiso. And and a little bit, I'm gonna say some spoilers in the next minute. Alright, starting. Luca was born and sort of raised in Paradiso, quote-unquote raised. And she managed to escape to regular Earth without actually having a regular Earth counterpart. That is an important distinction because that implies that people can escape from Paradiso. People who are born in or created in Paradiso can get to the real world. Which again makes sense because how else would the night... Because we've seen that happen before, see nightmares. Okay, end of spoilers. Welcome to this part of the stage, which is actually kind of troublesome because of that jump. So... It's hard because of the timing, but I appreciate that it's using a gimmick that isn't used for platforming this configuration. Yeah, it is neat, but gosh, whoever made this part has made it a little bit too brutal. Mercifully, I don't have the dodge roll because oh goodness. The timing required for that is, it's possible I've seen it. I thought I had a little bit more leg room. I don't have... Okay, I have a special weapon, but it's the Slash Claw. It one-shots them, sure, but I want a ranged weapon. And this is coming from someone who's somewhat experienced in Maker. Like, don't get me wrong, Slash Claw is awesome, but the weapon I want to use is a ranged weapon. I want to take care of the zombies. Oh, wait. Oh my goodness. That was the mistake I kept making. I kept trying to destroy the ice cubes immediately. What I should have done is just use as a platform to get up. Because if you're locked down to the bottom route, it becomes a lot more challenging. Way more. So it actually isn't that difficult as long as you don't break the ice cube. Oh gosh. I did do this before, yes. I just would feel safer if I didn't have to do it like that. But you are correct. Ooh. Ah, yikes. I should have just gone back all the way. Oh, I see it. It's a purple block up there. Will there be a third game in the Paradiso series? Maybe. Yeah, that's because of how it's over. Because of how the foreground maps with that element, it gets obscured. Oh. Pretty, but you want to work on distinguishing some of the elements here, especially when it's a mandatory route. Whoever worked on the section. Okay, this is a lot better. Like, I like this stage. It actually does something with all of its mechanics and has a neat aesthetic and a setting combo I don't usually see. But it does need a little bit of polish work. And you know what, I actually care about the stage because I'm actually talking about it instead of talking about Undertale or Sonic. Welcome to the Bone Zone. Enjoy your stay. And the checkpoint density, I'd say it's fair. We'll ignore about the earlier one. Oh yes, the Cow Mangler. Isn't that worse than the Bison? Or am I mixing up my weapons again? Oh, I have to chase it. Come on, come on. Oh. I went too fast. Yeah, I think I'm... Oh, no, sorry. I was confusing the Bison versus Pomson. Sorry. Let me type it in. Yeah, never... Okay, I checked the wiki. The Cow Mangler is the wrong weapon. My apologies. I haven't played enough TF2 to memorize what each of the weapons do. The Cow Mangler is actually good, but it's interesting. Let me in! Right into the zombie nest. Good for me. It is also kind of a longer stage, like it feels like we've gone... It feels like 2 stages back to back now. We started out in the Frosty Crypt and now we're deep in the crypt. So that's how it works, eh? Now that it's open, I can get back. Now I can jump over this pit and realize I don't have the green key yet. Oh shoot, I realized what I have to do. I did miss that platform up there. Again. See? Bye, B. I like the stage, and I like its aesthetics and what it's doing, but it needs a little bit more polishing work with distinguishing the foreground and background assets a few times. Stay frosty. Okay, we're 20 minutes into the stage, don't trust the timer. Time to fight Wily. I thought it was gonna be Shade Man, to be honest. .9 was awesome. One more. We're out. Ow. Or is it? Oh, there you are, Shade Man. Hang on, hang on. Jump, 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 jump. Ouch. Keep jumping. Hopscotch to victory. Will you survive? Yes. Last platform. Whew. Despite some of the rough edges with distinguishing stuff, especially the further we get in, and how long the stage is, like, I offer the same criticism to this stage as Oscar's level, but this stage has a lot more variety in it. So maybe we'll do better if we split into 2 parts. Like, this took 20 minutes to beat, and yeah. two stages, especially as there's only like 1 or 2 optional collectibles, so maybe. Otherwise, I really liked the stage and offered quite a bit to talk about. As such, this is my honorable mention of the episode. Good job everyone who worked on this. Hang on a moment, Jaden, we have art. So, of the 12 Virus-made levels I covered in today's morning stream, my favorite one would definitely be Tornado Zeppelin by Toxin G, with an honorable mention going to In the Everlasting Freeze by the folks at Mega Speedruns Collab, one of which is Nuclear Stomp. Good job, all of you. And thank you to everyone else who submitted your levels to me. It is really appreciated. So with all that said and done, it's time for the art showcase. Aftermath of Mega Man Maverick's Wily 2. If you know, you know. Why are there bubbles in the sky? A wild IX mural found on the racetrack in Polony. Nice. Okay, Bridge Zone and Work in Progress at Garden Zone. I was always fond of Bridge Zone due to its soundtrack. I would like to see a version of it touched up. I would make the cloud background a little bit less repetitive, but that's probably going to be fixed in a later version, so that criticism is not that much. As for the tile set itself, and the parallaxing, nice. Egg Garden. For one of Eggman's gardens, I would have expected a little bit for it to look a little bit more like Mecha Green Hill Zone, or more of an artificial garden aesthetic. Perhaps it'll be fixed in the background. Like, I think I would expect, when I hear the name Egg Garden, I would think that this takes place in some sort of artificial greenhouse or whatever. And with that, that concludes the art showcase, and subsequently the entire art showcase and the entire stream. Yeah, J Butters, it comes from Sonic 1 for the Master System / Game Gear, so yeah, slower paced. Thank you to everyone who either submitted their levels, submitted their art, or simply participated in chat. It's due to your continued support why I continue to produce new content for the channel. It is really appreciated. So, if you're enjoying this or any other content on the channel, please rate, comment, favorite, and or subscribe, as they all help it out. Don't forget to follow me on Blue Sky and Mastodon as well, and join my Discord server, as I regularly post updates there. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all later.